This episode, dating in Merida. Let's talk about it. You guys asked, what is this landscape like in Merida for dating? So this episode right here is only for the ladies. We're going to let that light shine through and give you some information. Men, enter at your own risk. Now, dating in Merida. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome to my newbies. Y'all blowing me up. I told you I'm 2,000 bound. Don't get it twisted. And I appreciate everybody that's sharing my content. Please share it, like it, subscribe to my channel if you have not. If you need a consultation, all of that. I'm here for all of that. But I'm so happy to have you here with me today, because today we're going to talk about something a little different. Not so much doing the work, which you know I'm very fond of. We're going to talk about dating in Merida. Yes, indeed. I have gotten so many questions from you guys like, can I date? What is it like down there? Tell me about it. Now, before we get into that, I have to give a disclaimer. Yes, I do. This particular video is for the ladies. It's for the ladies only. And why, might you ask? Because we're going to have a candid discussion. We're going to talk about some things that are very intimate and personal. And your feelings might get hurt. Men are sensitive. So your feelings may get hurt. And I don't want that to happen. But if it does happen, you have a right to have hurt feelings. To avoid all of that, I'm going to give you a minute to go ahead on and leave. Leave your girl, and you can leave and she can tell you about it. I'm telling you, none of this will interest you. All right. Now that we got rid of the men, it's just me and you ladies. It's going down. So today, dating in Merida, we're going to get personal about it. And we're going to touch on some issues, not only just with dating in Merida, but dating in general, and expectations, and some things to kind of look for when you move abroad, whether it be in Merida or anywhere that you may go. So, first thing, the majority of people that are here are female. Single female in particularly. That has been my experience. As you all know, I've been in and out of groups. I'm in and out, and I'll get into later, really into groups and creating a sisterhood, creating a foundation of love around you so you can heal from these traumas that we've all experienced in the States in dating there. And then the other side is females or young ladies or even older women that are here with their family, with their husband and their children. So if you're tuned in right now, you may get some information that can help you, or you can pass that information on. Please share my video on to, someone that this may help if they're thinking about coming here and wondering what it's like to date here and what the dating pool indeed looks like. So there is an influx of folks. I want to say that too. There are a lot of people coming here. Both genders are coming. So if you're looking to come in a year and 2 years, there indeed will be more availability of men than there are now. And I am speaking directly to Black men. Okay. So right now, there's a limited amount from what I've seen. And I haven't seen all of them. But I'm pretty social and I go to a lot of events. So there is a limited amount of them, of single, particularly men. And I have heard of cases of unknowingly sharing. Now, if that's your thing, then it could be somebody here for you if you want to share. But if you ain't trying to share, there is a limited availability of Black men in particularly that may be available for dating exclusively, okay? So that leads me into my next, because I got my notebook. Y'all, come on. Opening up our options as women to date other cultures, other ethnicities, other locales or locals. I think we, particularly as Black women, have, and women who's ever watching, no matter what color you are, just men in general, we have always been my opinion. This is Tia and Nikki's opinion. I don't need agreements. I'm just sharing. And I think a lot of us will be on the same page with this. I just feel it. Earth the Kid once said, I met a lot of men that have laid me down but not picked me up, or something to that effect. And I feel that. So maybe we could consider opening up our options when it comes to dating. I mean, for goodness sake, this is Mexico. You see it in Mexico. Y'all like my new background? Hey, hey, yeah, in Mexico. So opening up the conversation of consideration. How about that? Of actually now think about this too, that there are not only just Mexicans here, but there are also other ethnicities here. There are people from lots of places here. I know a young lady has a Salvadorian boyfriend. We got a lot of Cuban and a lot of Cuban men here, darker than me. I'm like, what's up, brother? They be like, hola. I'm like, oh, my bad. Okay, my bad. So opening up the options, opening up the conversation for the options as well, right? Got to open that up and take a chance, maybe see what it looks like. And I think that'll open up your dating pool instead of being specific to your certain culture, whether it be black, white, whatever. But opening up that, okay? Another thing that's applicable here is demographics of dating, as ages that will be dating now. I know people that watch my videos are right around 40 and older, 42 and older. I look at my stats, so I see you. And so your younger people who are still motivated to be in the dating pool and maybe have a family, or the family that they have, they want to move, and so they'll grow up safe, and they're single mothers. Once again, going back to the aforementioned, open up the dating pool. For us older people, it's like, hey, I'm good, or considering dating someone in the States. How about that? Dating somebody in the States. Now you let me know. Let me know in the comments. I want feedback on this video from you ladies. I'm serious. I want you to tell me, first of all, would you be open to dating outside of your race, dating another culture, right? And would you also be willing to date someone who lives in the States or another country, and y'all meet in the middle? Or you be like, come visit me, I come visit you, and you get to go to a new country and things like that, and open up the whole dating experience. How about that? How about that? Okay. Now moving into another deeper level, and that's why we don't need men here today. Hallelujah. It's between you, us ladies today. Let's look at something that I've been experiencing. I will be very transparent in this video because we need to talk about it. And so many of you are coming here and you're single and you're like, well, like, is my dating life over, or what is the landscape? And that's what I'm here to tell you about. And if you never thought about it, you're like, oh yeah, what about that? Got that too. So celibacy and relationships. Okay, so I'm about 10 years in the game now. I haven't had any relationships. I haven't had any type of interactions. I am been solo dolo. And I would unequivocally say that this has been one of the most transformative and uplifting times of my life, because my focus shifted to me. It shifted to me. And instead of trying to make outside happy, I mean inside happy, Tia Nikki happy. And because of that, I think my vibratory level elevated, you know what I mean? Which means I'm attracting things that I want. I'm attracting higher conscious things, people, places. Mexico, where the vibration is higher. So, what did I write? I think that a relationship would have inhibited my progress to move ahead. as I have without any self-imposed detours. I mean, I think life gives enough of them. So any self-imposed detours. So with the business failing and losing a job and the homelessness and also moving to another country, all that has taken place over the years of my independence. I'm gonna call it that. So because of that, I want you to look at some things that may happen for you if you're choosing here to date. Now, I want to put a pinpoint here. I talked to some people and asked them if they would come and talk about their dating experiences. So I am still working on that because some people don't want to be on camera. Some people have not had good experiences. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's good or not good. It's just like, roll back, you know. I won't say good or bad, just not fulfilling. How about that? So I'm working on getting somebody, and if you're out there and you're watching and you want to talk about your dating experience here in Merida or dating abroad, hit me up. TiaNikkiInMerida@gmail.com. It is on the screen. Okay, and we can get into a conversation about it because I've noticed a lot of younger women are opting out of childbearing. They're opting out of marriage. They're like, I met oh my God, so many young women who have been to Asia and that have been to Europe and all these. They have traveled and they're in their 20s, and here I am over 50, and I'm catching up. Gen X, where you at? Right? So, and the boomers, where you at? Right? Trying to make it here, trying to make it there. So, I think that coming to a place where you don't have to worry about relationships or not worry about it, but it's not in your face. Every 5 minutes, somebody wanting to take something from you. A man here to incorporate you into his life gives you an opportunity. It gives you an opportunity to heal some of the post wounds from past relationships in the States. Now, as you continue on this journey, your taste will change in food, in music, in people, in things, in places. Internally, there is a whole metaphysical and psychological transformation, and even physical. A lot of people mentioned on my first video and how I've slimmed down just by being in this level of vibration with good food, good people, right? So there's already an evolutionary thing that happens when you go through these experiences. So I think this is an opportune time to take to heal some of the wounds from past relationships and marriages and partnerships and friendships or lack thereof. We talked about having that friend and she's shady. And that causes trauma when you don't have anybody to depend on. If you think you can depend on somebody and they cut you short, it can deflate you because it's not even really their fault because of the conditioning of where you are and what you've been through. So, a moment to heal trauma and pain from negative residue from negative relationships. How about that? Another thing, focusing on getting what you deserve, starting the business, going back to school, whatever it is. And this video is very you focused. It's not about your friends and your partner. It's about you and what you deserve and what you want, and if you choose to date, the landscape, okay, and things to consider. The easy part is dating. The easy part, they'll come, they'll speak, you say hi, y'all go out, you decide if you like it. Ba 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 ba, right? But there is a cultural shift when you come here. There's a language barrier. There's so many things that totally change the energetic effort to meet someone, to click with someone. It's hard enough in the States. Now you're dealing with a different paradigm, right? So, getting what you deserve and the quality of man you deserve. Let me tell you something. I got to stop right here for a second. Okay. Like, I'm not trying to come down on my brothers. I'm not. But I'm going to just state an actual factual fact. All that. The man to come here, he fixed my door. We got a mask. He said, can I plug up my welding machine? He plug up his welding machine. He welds. And I love it. And he puts a whole new lock. But you know what? He can also cut the grass, build a shelf, put up wiring, change the plumbing, electrical work. I mentioned this in my previous video, Why Stay in the USA. The lack of skill set that we as a people, I don't care who you are, have, and the fact that we don't have any trades, and we went to school and we learned wood shop. Was that it? Yes. And cars, where they worked on the car, they had skill sets. They could change your oils. You didn't have to pay for it. And I'm not seeing a lot of that going on anymore. But I come here and I see the brother out here. Well, now he just became sexy. 0.5 seconds. I'm like, this is sexy. He could bring something to the table. Because see, we are the table. Hello. We can bring something. A lot of things. Instead of calling thumbtack. Or rappy. You know what I mean? So the quality of man, my eyes have seen a different quality of man. One that's 6 days a week they work here. I took an Uber one time, y'all, and the man had been working there 3 years, and he had made 35,000 trips. I don't even know how that's humanly possible. 35,000. You ain't got to worry about where he is. He's at work. Okay, now, moving on. Safety. Now, this is a big one, and a lot of y'all I mentioned on my last video, the lady didn't even know what feeling safe feel like. It's been so long that she felt what safe. What is that like? So, safety is a big concern in the States. Date rape, things like this do happen. SA happens. Sketchiness start off right. And they say most people in these situations who do go out on these dates know these people. That's my friend. He my friend. We're friends. And then kapow wow kapow pow, which seems to be the phrase for the night. So particularly younger women who are just starting to date, I would say this environment is much, I feel in my bones that this environment is much better to date in. I think it's safer. I don't think there's as much SA or dating situations of violence against women. So possibly, okay. For safety reasons, that is something that you would not have to consider as much as you would in the States if you choose to date. Moving on. Travel partner, the opportunity to get a travel partner. So maybe starting out here, you're not jumping to a relationship, but I'm gonna tell y'all something. These people here, the locals, they are serious about this. If we go out twice, you're gonna meet my mama and we go together. Me and you as a couple. Together. I'm telling you. Because of the culture, there's not a lot of promiscuity. There's not a lot of dating. People are mating and being together and raising the kids, and this is what we're gonna be. Because of the cultural difference. So it's important that you know I love 90 Day Fiance. It's one of my guilty pleasures. Hey. And the fact that some of these women travel abroad and talking about they're gonna marry these people and know nothing about the culture. They don't know that they ain't never leaving their mama house. They ain't never leaving. They got obligations. And there's no give. If I got to choose, it's going to be staying here with the family. And they don't know that. So it's important that you know, right? So, traveling partner, to give you some time, to give you some soul searching and not let it be so romantic, but we're traveling together. We're seeking together. We're checking out Oaxaca and Tulum together and learning the language together, which is another thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about things to remember when you do date shortly. Okie dokie, Smokey, moving right along. A chance to gain self-awareness and realization because of the transformation that you're going to make from coming from the States and coming to another country in the dating field. Now, if you're solo dolo, that you're going to self-actualize anyway because you by yourself or you with other people who help bubble that up, that intellectual conversation comes up to bubble up, right? So before you date so quickly, take a moment to go through that energy, to go through that actualization, awareness, and realization of who you are and who you're becoming and where you are and who you're becoming where you are, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. Now, understand that the U.S. is a masculine energy with a patriarchal system. So you're coming from a very aggressive environment with aggressive men. I've seen the news about, you know, these men, unaliving, families and then taking their own lives because men are so emotional and don't know how to really navigate that at times. So there's a lot of tension, a lot of dark energy there when it comes to the masculine energy and the control that it comes with it, the indoctrination that comes with it, and also women living in that type of energy when we are soft. And now a lot of men say that women have become masculine, but my rebuttal would be, what choice do women have when they have to step up and take on the responsibilities that they have to? And just because it's masculine energy doesn't mean they're a man. It means that they're reaching into the stronger masculine part of their body and most of all, their mind to make things happen. And the feminine divine is the strongest energy. So that's what makes everything move and create, right? So you're coming from a very aggressive, and can I have your number? You say no, it's time to fight. You don't know who's following you. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on, and I'm aware of it. So even the fear of dating, I think a lot of women have stayed single because it's just too scary out there to compound previous relationships that were not the best. Adjusting to a new culture and their perspective and not having the pain and the DNA and all of that we have in the States. And you come here and you bring that here, or you take that where you're going, and that's going to run them away maybe. Because you still have that aggressive energy because you've had to defend yourself. You had to defend your rights. You had to defend your right to be a woman. You had to defend your right to have a voice. You had to just say no. You had to Me Too move. It's a lot of energy. So when you're transitioning here, that's why I say I think it's great to just take a minute, decompress, and do some self-awareness checks, some self-actualization, realization moments for clarity so that you'll know what you want and pick the best quality of man, whether you choose to pick someone local or choose to date from the States. Okay? Date from the States. Okay? So it's been hard. That was my next bullet. I went right into it. And then just to compound that fact, nothing for women as far as support or, recognition, not on a large scale, not with stars, I'm talking about individual amongst each other, is supported or reciprocated. So I talk about the sisterhood here and groups, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. So right here, I want to move into a young lady that I actually found on the Tickety Talk. and some of you all may have seen her, and for those of you who have not, I would ask you to go give her a visit on YouTube. Her name is Princella, the Queen Maker. This young lady is 37, and I have learned a lot from her at 53.9 than I've learned, I would probably say, ever in my whole entire life. I also shared this information with my mother because it resonated with me so deeply that I wanted to share it. So I'm sharing it with you. I want you to go check her out. She does have a podcast, and her information will be in the description, and you should see the podcast name on the screen. Once again, Princella, the Queen Maker. And she's the one thing that I do want to say about her, to synopsize her message, is that she shows you the way males think. She shows you the way a man thinks. She shows you men's mental thinking, the way it is, raw doggity dig dog, in your face. So if you got delicate ears, you might want to just go get the book. She has 2 books out. She really affected my navigational system and how I operate because dating has been on my mind here. I know I have some barriers like language and, my new location and the culture and the dating practices here, and a few other things that we'll go through. But this definitely let me know that I may not need to, and if I do not at this particular time, because it's me time, and that's why it's you time. That's why this is about you. That's why there are no men here, and if they are, it's the woman time. It's the woman time. So, check her out. What I'm going to say to you next will resonate with you even more after you look at her. I'll put the link of where I first saw her on YouTube, Street Life channel. And it's about a 3-hour interview to be honest, but it didn't seem like 3 hours, and it was so interesting, intriguing, and captivating that time went by like that. And she wasn't raw on there. She's more personal on her individual channel, but on this interview she just gave so many golden nuggets of information that I was not aware of because I was never taught how men think. And it made sense. Things were clicking, they resonated, and I hope that it will resonate for you. So with that being said, I want you ladies to always put you first. And I don't think you've been doing it. I'm almost certain that you haven't been doing it. I know you ain't been doing it because I ain't been doing it. Not before I got here, and not before the last few years of independence. So I want to implore, because that's my favorite, on you to put yourself first. And when I say put yourself first, that means everything that concerns you. All of your desires, your wants, your thoughts are important. Your goals are important. Don't let nobody tell you that they're not. Stay on your laurels. Stand on them and stay focused, okay? So also, while you're waiting to date, a community of loving and strong women. We have definitely lost our connection and put relationships with the opposite sex before relationships with our girlfriend. We will let our girlfriend go. And then when you break up, we go back to the girlfriend and we say, I'm sorry. And your good girlfriend will say, welcome back, boo. But that's far and few between. So you need a community of loving and strong women, and non-judgmental, because we all fall and have to get back up at times. But my thing is personally is I don't care about none of that. We're going to work through all of that. Just don't lie to me. I can fix things, but I can't fix no lie. I can hear things, but I ain't listening to no lie. Okay. Also, creating a sacred space for you. whatever that looks like. If it look like an altar, if it look like the park, if it look like the library, if it look like some delicious comida, the food, whatever that looks like in your space, on your meditation square, with you being left alone, thinking about you and what you need and what's important to you. That's what you need. There has been nothing like the peace and solitude that I've had here since I moved here. Where I used to live, I had very belligerent neighbors. I had an incident happen on Christmas Eve where my neighbor, he was off his meds. And I was living in a senior community. So this is an older gentleman off his meds, butt naked in front of my window on Christmas Eve. Nope, Christmas Day. And I still have trauma from that. I called the police 3 times. They came out and did nothing. The gentleman did nothing. Oh, he's drunk. I think he's going to pass out and you won't have to worry about it. And that does not solve the issue. So, of course, I reported him to my management company and they did nothing until it happened to them. Moving on. Surround yourself with people that get you, right? That's so important because you can be in a crowd of people, in a group of people. I've experienced this, and don't nobody get you. You're not connected. You're not feeling the oohs from nowhere. So it's not most important that you be in a group. It's most important that you get in a group where you can connect with someone in the group or the whole group. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Some people that get you. Another thing, beloved, I know that you are exhausted. I know it. And even though I'm here, and this is what I be telling y'all, I am not chilling. I'm still working. I'm still grinding. I'm still coming up with stuff. I'm still moving. I'm still doing the do. It don't stop. I'm just in a place where I'm safe, where it's peaceful, where I can concentrate, where I don't feel threatened, where my money stretches further, right? So life is life. But here it's a whole different reaction to it. It's a whole different vibratory level, and it encourages me and it strengthens me to move ahead because I'm not carrying all that heavy energy in the States, that masculine energy. So you are exhausted from just living in a low vibrational society because you don't live in a nurturing society. You don't live in a society that's reciprocal. It's very, what did I say in my previous video? Doggy dog, me or you, winner or loser. It's masculine energy. It's competitive. Okay? So also coming here, before you get in that relationship, take a minute to release generational trauma. Now, we talked about that. And on a deeper level, women are very sacrificial. We do it for the kids. We do it for the boyfriend. We sacrifice, we give it up. I won't go, I won't eat, they can eat, from that level all the way to your level, right? So there's a lot of sacrificing going on and there ain't a lot being poured back into you. So this is why the sisterhood, why connecting, by moving to a place that has a high vibratory level, will help you in that area and help you to release it. And then once you release it, then you can start to rebuild, and bless it. Have a team of women or your good girlfriend that'll help you come over and lay them bricks, right? So that's, to me, very important, releasing that past pain, the sacrificing that we do, and we'll continue to do. Because you're still going to have to do it when you get here and just be less impactful. It won't be so much, you know what I mean? Because the most important thing is what? Who we marry and who we have children with. And with that comes a lot. It comes a lot. It becomes too much sometimes. I'm just saying. So a women's supportive group will help you creating these symbiotic relationships. Because I'm going to tell y'all, the relationship between women in the States is broken. It's broken on purpose. Princella tell you about that. But in any effect, it's broken. It's very hard to mend. It's very hard. It's mostly walls instead of fences. So it's very hard to mend. So I know you guys saw my last video about the paint and sip and how great it was. Guess what? Miss Sonia Be Creative on Facebook has another event coming up on July the 22nd from 4 to 8 p.m. If you would like to register for that class, please email her directly. Her information is on the screen, and she will go ahead on and give you the information and the pricing, and hope to see you there. Support our girl. Okay, now, reestablishing these broken relationships with women in particularly, and I find it very prominent in women in the family, either a complete disconnect or a brokenness. And I really feel that it's because of the masculine energy environment that we're in, that you're in. And that is definitely a part of me that I am working through right now. That's why we're talking about it. So that's why I'm saying there's a time that you need to decompress, because you need to go through these transformation of healing, getting rid of all that, releasing all of that it's energy in you, and then there's an energetic field around you. So before anybody can get past that, and especially in a different culture where you don't know what to expect, it's very important to take time for yourself, one, and to begin to reestablish relationships with women. Now, I've talked about the sisterhood here and how I'm so in love with the sisterhood. Now, I'm transparent. There have been a lot of this for me, particularly. No responsibility, or I'm accountable for myself in the situation, but I'm not saying anything to blame. I'm just saying it's a natural process of experiencing life and interacting with people and finding my tribe, right? So you ain't gonna go out there necessarily and meet somebody and be like, oh, this is it. We best friends, we chilling. Because not only do I have issues and generational stuff and relationship stuff and friendship stuff, so does the other person. And so if you're healed and you're working on yourself and you're improving, it's very difficult to entertain the company of someone who's unhealed, but even more than that, not willing to heal, right? So you got to kind of go through it a little bit in finding your tribe and finding people that you connect with, because there are indeed people here from all over. We just not in one state, from everywhere. Not only different places in the States, but different countries as well, right? So that has a lot to do with reestablishing relationships. Now, personally, when it comes to groups, from T and Nikki, I have been in and out of groups, y'all. I've been kicked out of one. I don't care, because if it was for me, I would be there, right? It helps me keep going on to the one that's for me. I'm in and I'm out, because it's very difficult for me to connect with people who have a like journey. I come from a place of homelessness, so that means it's taken a lot of strength for me to climb up out of that with the help of my ancestors and the love from the other side. I've been able to make very positive and strong decisions that have gotten me where I am. And not a lot of people have that particular journey. Also, my living situation, I take care of my mother. There are a lot of solo dolos who can get up and leave whenever they want to. There's quite a bit of young people here and families here. So I have been in a situation where I've been out with a group, and the group was talking about like their kids and things like that, and I don't have any. And it's absolutely nothing wrong with them talking about their kids. It's just that I don't fit in that group. You see what I'm saying? So I don't exit them because of anything being wrong per se. It's just a vibe. It's a connection. And so being in a group where people are more my peers, and if they do have kids, they grown and gone, opens up a kinship and a opportunity to bond. Definitely, if anything, just from the basics, from a generational level. You know what I mean? So that has been my experience with sisterhood and groups here. Now, I've had past groups, I've been in and out. I'm in present groups now, and I will continue. And I will continue to encourage you, because I did find some good people from those groups. I do have good relationships with a couple of gals, you know what I mean? And had it not been for those groups, I would have never met her. I would have never met them. And together we have our own little group. So, work it the best you can. I don't see anything wrong with it. I do, however, say be careful, be aware, and also realize that you may be growing and changing. And so you want to be around people who are growing and changing. You may be a business person, so you want to be involved with a group that have business minded people. You may be in the health and fitness, so you want to be in a group that encourages that. If you're in the health and fitness and you're vegan, or you lean more towards no meat, you don't want to be in a group to go out and eat at the buffet and have a chicken. It just might make you a little uncomfortable. That's all. Look out for you. So that has been my experience with groups. Now, I want to leave you with a list of things to remember as you start to date, not only here and abroad. And as I mentioned before, I am going to have a guest. I just know I am. Who's going to tell me their experience in dating here. In talking to my girlfriends, I was able to compile a little list of things or challenges or opportunities for growth here when dating locally, right? Because as I mentioned, the pool of men is not very large when it comes to dating here, specifically based on ethnicity, right? So, language, learning that language and not having a Google Translate relationship is hard on you. And Google does not translate correct. Well, I won't say correctly, but not specifically. It could be a one word that has a different meaning, and it won't give you the direct meaning or the intent of the person that you're speaking with. So it's very important. Language is very important when it comes to dating. Enough, even if it's just enough to have a basic conversation and you have to Google a little bit, but a whole Google text relationship, it's cool if you're not together, but when you're together, you want to be able to engage the person and get a feel for them. So learning the language will help you do that. Also, always keeping in mind that you're in a new location and it's a different foundation, it's different cultures, and it's different dating, I would probably say preferences as well as practices. So, I'm Chucky, and I get Marina Bonita all the time in a very non-aggressive way, in a very flattering way. I appreciate that because I'm conscious of myself. Most women are, right? So when I hear that, I'm like, I'm not going nowhere. They call me Bonita, pretty, and queen here. Are you crazy? I'll be ready. When you gonna be ready, man? So different way, they moving differently here. Is not so physically focused as the States, because definitely in the States there's a very high focus on physicality, healthy and physicality. And women, you know exactly what I mean, right? So also, we talked about opening up the dating pool and dating interracially. So now you're dating not only a different race, but a different culture, and knowing some background on that culture. Like, what is that about? How do they operate? What do they expect of their mate? I mentioned in the last video why I stay in the USA. If you didn't see it, go on and go back and look at it, because it's good. That there is not only a difference in interracially and culturally, but the way these people was raised is different. You are detouring away from some slave narratives that I mentioned in the past video. And then there's also people in the States are great for, you got the cartel. And although they exist, but not primarily in Merida, that person may be from that. So what is that about? Your family with the Colonials? I'm just saying, right? So knowing all of these things, you got to be able to understand what you're getting yourself into. The man was at the Home Depot, y'all. He asked me for my phone number. I was out there dancing a little bit. He asked me if I like salsa, if I like the Cuban, or if I like the Mexican salsa. Now, I didn't know enough, but I knew what he was talking about. And he asked, right before I got ready to get in the car, into the Uber, he did his phone like that. And he wanted my phone number. So I gave him my phone number, and he called me before I could get out the parking lot, scared me to death. Because I'm coming from U.S., where I'm used to aggressive men. I ain't in but nothing like 2 months. I've been here a year, y'all. This was on like the second or third month mark. And he called me 16, 17 times in like 3 days. And he scared me away. I never called him. That is a clear indicator of a few things on both sides. My trauma, where I'm coming from, how I'm used to dealing with men and their culture. And come on, let's do this. And what we waiting on. And the fact that I know, because I studied it, after 2 dates, we go together. And I'm not ready to commit like that. I just got here. I don't know the language. I don't know where I am, location. I need to learn the culture. What are the dating practices, right? What do you want? What do you want? Opening up the dating pool to integrate different ethnicities, different cultures, different classes, because there's no isms, but it's all over the world. Poor, rich, we're definitely divided. Classism exists. Not so much here. But however, different sides of town have different sides of energy, different places in Mexico, different states in Mexico, different cities within those states have different culture or a more pronounced culture. So knowing where you're going and what you want. And also seeing what these men here have to offer. I told y'all, my eyes have been opened up because they welding, they plumbing, they electrician. One person. I once dated a guy, asked him to help me in the garden. He said he won't get no dirt under his fingernails. We broke up a few years later. Because it's a clear indicator of your mindset. But they not scared. They out here working, they doing it, they're not doing it because you asked them. They doing it because it's the culture, right? So being able to move into that. And we got a lot with us, ladies. We got a lot with us. So adapting to a new place, people, and purpose. Because as you move through this journey, through this transition through your life, you're going to be probably dealt a different purpose. Because you shifted the paradigm of generations. See, this is move. I've told you all before, this move is not, it's bigger than you, it's bigger than me, it's a movement. And you are affecting your kids. You're affecting generational curses. You are affecting generational challenges. You're helping your children see different. You're helping your neighbor. People are watching how you move. Y'all be on the low-low. You know why you on the low-low? Because you know they watching. They trying, what she doing? What she doing? What she trying to do? They want to know how you did it. What it look like. They want to know. So people are still watching. Even though you try to keep silent, people are still watching, and let them watch. Let them look and learn, because few will have the tenacity, the courage, and the consistency that you do. Because once again, this video is about you. It's about you coming here, decompressing before dating and the landscape of that. So that's all I got for you all today. I wanted to get into that. I intend on doing a part 2 where we can actually get into the guts of some of it and the experiences that someone has had with dating and how the challenges were, what the victories were. Remember, besides all of the dating, it's about you. It's your journey, my ladies. It's your journey. And it is about you becoming, and it's about you going from doing and going to being peaceful and getting the things that you deserve out of life. It's very important. You're very important. And what you want is very important. Don't listen to the naysayers. If you need some help, if you need some guidance, I always invite you to go take my Cut the Cord course, a guide on leaving the USBS, baby, because it's thick. It's masculine energy. It's thick, and we are feminine. And we need the love, we need the nurturing, we need sisterhood. Learning how to do that will be a challenge within itself, but however, very rewarding. And I will also continue to keep you guys updated on groups that you can join. Black Merida is a group you can join. The link to that is in the description. Black in Merida is a link you can join. A group you can join. The link is also in the description. I also have a link down there for Princella, the Queen Maker, who is changing lives single-handedly over there on YouTube. You can see her in a lot of places. You may have already be familiar with her or ran into her, and I ask that you just look at that interview. Look at the interview, and it may just alter your way of thinking, help you to see the light, perhaps. Illumination. Yes, indeedy. So, if you need a consultation, I am here. I am here to talk to you and help you figure it out. A lot of you all have reached out to me. Tia Nikki, I need to get that. I listed 59 work from home jobs that you can do. It's also in the description. I also did a video on business in Merida, Money Matters, and how to start a business, how to procreate, create, and find your niche, and also develop a niche that you may already have. So you want to get into some of those things and talk about it. I'm here for you guys. I want to reiterate with everything in my being, the ladies, you are important, and indeed, it is all about you. It is about your journey. It's about where you've been, where you are, and most importantly, where you're going. So, until next time, peace.